Coming up on LUTV News, President Donald Trump has signed off on a new measure that will provide more money for autism research.
Plus, a St. Charles County prosecutor is being accused for harassing a former girlfriend, who happens to be a St. Charles County court judge.
And police are looking into several suspicious brush fires along a stretch of I-70 in western St. Charles County. Those stories and more ahead on LUTV News. Welcome to this edition of LUTV News. I'm Shaylin Davis.
And I'm Rolando Dupuy. The Autism Cares Act of 2019 was signed by President Donald Trump on Monday. The Autism Cares Act recognizes the problem of aging out of service and makes sure that the federal government continues to help hundreds of thousands of young adults with autism. The act provides $1.8 billion in funding for autism programs and research to find a cure.
St. Charles County Prosecutor Tim Lomar is under investigation by the State Highway Patrol. Police say they have responded to St. Charles County Judge Emily Burleson's home twice this year for calls of harassment. Lomar says he and Burleson have had an on and off again relationship for several years. The allegations do not include any type of sexual harassment, and so far no charges have been filed.
One of the largest abortion clinics in the country has secretly built in Fairway Heights. Back in August of 2018, Planned Parenthood apparently used a shell company to begin the construction as a way to avoid dealing with protesters. The facility is open 13 miles from St. Louis and will begin seeing patients in just a few weeks. However, Planned Parenthood of St. Louis will continue providing surgical abortions at their health center on Forest Park Avenue.
A St. Louis Metro man is facing 2 charges after allegedly shooting at a random person driving in Florissant on Tuesday. Police conducted a traffic stop on Calvin Johnson's Dodge Charger. They said that he shot the other car in self-defense. Officers report there are a lot of bullet holes in the victim's car. Officers also believe that Johnson is a danger to the community, and they have not yet been able to determine the reason for the shooting.
A woman from West St. Louis County has now been charged with robbery, armed criminal action, stealing, and assault. Police say Debbie Penn is charged in connection with a shoplifting incident at a Menard home improvement store on Manchester Road. Penn hit an employee who tried stopping her with her car. She's in critical conditions with a serious head injury. Penn is being held on a $250,000 bond.
Brush fires were wreaking havoc across the western St. Charles County earlier this week. Several fires were reported across the 8-mile stretch of I-70. Lake St. Louis police are not saying that the fires were intentionally set, but they do think that they were suspicious. Crews responded to the brush fires near Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, and Wentzville around 3 in the afternoon. Witnesses could see heavy smoke drifting across I-70. Eastbound 70 was shut down briefly while they put out the fires. Police are asking anyone with any information or who has seen anything to contact them.
Fire broke out at the popular St. Andrews Cinema in St. Charles County early this morning. When the firefighters arrived, the flames were gone, but they found lots of smoke coming from the roof. According to officials, an electrical malfunction in the lobby could have caused the fire. The owners of the theater, which has been a fixture in St. Charles for over 50 years, have not yet said when it will reopen.
Straight ahead on LUTV News, another retail store is fighting to stay in business as they file for bankruptcy.
But at what cost? Stick around to find out more.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She carried 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Fashion retailer Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy on Sunday. The chain plans on closing 178 of its 800 stores worldwide. They have not announced which stores they will be closing yet. Forever 21 is the latest retailer to collapse due to online increased shopping. Wet Seal, Delia's, American Apparel, Aeropostale, and Charlotte Russe have all filed for bankruptcy within the past 5 years.
The General Motors strikers in Wentzville keep fighting for what they believe in, but the 16-day work stoppage is starting to affect other businesses. Wentzville Mayor Nick Guccione says people are still spending money around the city, but strike effects have begun to spread. A few neighboring manufacturers have had to lay off some of their employees until the strike is over.
25-year-old Nicholas St. James Chapman was charged yesterday with several felonies, including first-degree murder. Police say Chapman fired several rounds at 21-year-old Diaria Jones and a 26-year-old man as they were in bed on September 23rd. Jones was hit several times, including her chest, and died in the hospital. The man she was with was shot in the shoulder. Police documents say Chapman was texting the man that was in bed with Jones, asking where he was before the shooting.
The state of Missouri executed inmate Russell Buckley on Tuesday for killing a man during a violent 1996 crime spree. This was Missouri's first execution since January 2017. The ACLU and other organizations argue he was shocked on his own blood because of a rare medical condition. Some of the witnesses said that Buckley showed no sign of pain.
It may be time to bring a light jacket because temperatures in the St. Louis area are finally falling.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable, and with you when you had your heart broken. They were with you when you shared your love with the world, and with you when she became your world. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them?
The ceremony was a blast. It was just like the surreal moment of my dreams are coming true.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said, "Oh, I apologize. She won't be taking you in as a client."
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
And sitting there in that small, cold room, I wanted to cry, just thinking, what did we bring this kid into?
We're simply asking to treat our family the same way that you would treat any family.
The wait for fall temps are just about over. In the Midwest, the L represents the cool fronts coming in. This is exciting. Time to grab the fall gear. Let's take a look at the local map. All around the board, it is partly cloudy. St. Louis is 89. Now let's move over here to take a look at Maryland Heights and St. Charles. Maryland Heights is 85. St. Charles is 86. As you can see, St. Peter's is 87 and O'Fallon is 88. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Happy Hump Day. Today will be the last day of summer weather with a high of 89 and a low of 68. Thursday, a high of 71 with a low of 50. Friday will kick off the weekend with the cool front of 69 as the high and 55 as the low. Saturday, we will have some storms with the high of 79 and low of 54. Sunday will be sunny again with the high of 71 and low of 50. If you're anything like me, you will be happy to see the fall just to pull out the cute booties and jackets. I'm Danielle. That's the latest with weather. Let's check in with Ethan, who has a lot to say about sports.
The Cup champion St. Louis Blues hope to open their season tonight with a victory at the Enterprise Center against the Washington Capitals. All that and more coming up in sports after the break. Okay. The Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues hope to open their season tonight with a victory at the Enterprise Center against the Washington Capitals. All that and more coming up in sports after the break.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
What is up, everyone? The St. Louis Blues open their title defense tonight at the Enterprise Center against the Washington Capitals. They plan on raising the banner at 6:45, and the puck is scheduled to drop at 7. If the Blues believe they can repeat as Stanley Cup champs, they will be hoping goalie Jordan Binnington remains hot and Tarasenko can return to prime goal-scoring form. And on Monday night, the Blues finally got their championship rings, and they are huge. It features 14-karat white and yellow gold with blue sapphires and 282 diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds. Hopefully, those can help them get off to a fast start tonight and avoid a Stanley Cup hangover against a very talented Washington Capitals team. The Washington Nationals defeated the Milwaukee Brewers last night 4-3 in an absolutely electric wild card game. The Brewers led the entire way after a 2-run homer in the first inning and a leadoff homer in the second inning. The Nationals hung in there down 3-1 pretty much the whole game after a solo shot from Trey Turner in the third. But with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th, Juan Soto lined a 3-run double into left field and put the Nationals up 4-3, and they would not look back. They now have the privilege to go to Los Angeles and play the Dodgers Thursday night. The St. Louis Cardinals are back in the postseason as they head to Atlanta to face off against a very good Braves team. On the bump in Game 1 for the Cards is Miles Mikolas going up against Dallas Keuchel. Mikolas will be making his postseason debut, while Keuchel has won a World Series in 2017 with the Houston Astros and has made 9 career postseason starts. First pitch is scheduled at 4:02 Central Time. After another tough loss last weekend in Michigan against Davenport, the Lindenwood football team looks to rebound and get back on track against GLVC foe McKendree. Lindenwood goes into the game this week with a record of 1-3, but they are 1-0 in conference play. McKendree comes in also 1-3 while being 0-1 in conference. Starting 2-0 in the conference should be what this team needs to get back on track for the rest of the season. And the Lindenwood men's bowling team is getting ready for their first tournament of the season. This Friday in Wisconsin, with fresh talent on the team, the Lions are looking for their 3rd national championship and their first in 5 years. I caught up with Ron Fujita, the assistant coach for the men's bowling team, who knows there's a lot of work to be done.
It's going to be a very exciting year. We have a lot of young talent this year. A lot of them are freshmen, and it's going to be interesting, but it's a really hard learning curve for a lot of freshmen in a competitive collegiate environment. So we have 2 tier 1s to start off the season, So it's really important that we get started really quick and get it going.
That is all I have for sports. Now back to Rolando.
There's still time to visit the St. Louis Renaissance Festival in Wentzville. The festival is on weekends until October 14th. Parking is free and dogs are allowed, but what actually goes on? Jake Anak has all things to know on the festival.
In the Wentzville area, you may see knights, kings, pirates, even squires. All of them are there for the 21st Annual Renaissance Festival. I'm here in Wentzville at Rotary Park for the St. Louis Renaissance Fair. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that's going on and a lot of fun stuff for families to enjoy. Each year, thousands of people come together at Rotary Park in Wentzville. This event happens every weekend from the middle of September to the beginning of October. Each weekend has a different theme, but the bottom line is the same.
And so this weekend is Shamrocks and Shenanigans. It's our third weekend. Our fourth weekend coming up is Costume Con and Chocolate Fantasy. So kind of, we have a lot of Star Wars and Game of Thrones themed things going on. And our final weekend is Oktoberfest. And then we have Day of Discovery, which is our Columbus Day theme.
Every day there are dozens of shows that perform throughout the day all over the 17-acre property. From shows to songs, there's something for everyone. The Renaissance Festival does have a lot of fun activities, but it's also a great opportunity for vendors to showcase their crafts.
If you go to an arts festival, people come there very specifically in search of art. If you go to a Renaissance festival, most of the time people are there in search of fun. And then they happen to stumble across art, and then they enjoy that part too.
So whether you go for the crafts, to dress up, for the food, or just to have fun, the Renaissance Festival is sure to be an enjoyable time for everyone. For LUTV News, I'm Jake Adams.
That's it for this edition of LUTV News. I'm Rolando Dupuy. Thanks for joining us today.
And I'm Shaylin Davis. Enjoy the rest of your day.